Hey guys, if you're new here, welcome. My name's Kieran McLean and this is my channel where we discuss things all kidney related and kidney disease and try to put our part in to raise more awareness for kidney disease. So today's video is all about something that I didn't really have any idea what it was or how it worked before I experienced it myself back in 2017. And that thing is dialysis. So we're going to discuss about what dialysis is and what it does and how it helps you. And we're going to also discuss the different types of dialysis that you can choose from when it comes to that stage. So first comes the obvious question, what is dialysis? So the general definition for dialysis is a treatment that requires a machine to help remove excess water, toxins and waste from your blood that your kidneys would usually do if you had an alright kidney function. Now there are two types of general dialysis. There's hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis. Each one has its perks and they both work in different ways, but they both do the job of replacing the kidney and being a temporary solution for kidney disease or kidney failure, both of which involve using some sort of fluid to clean the waste out of your system. So first of all is hemodialysis. Now hemodialysis is using a hemodialysis machine to draw blood from your body into the machine, and it filters out the waste from your blood and then eventually puts the blood back into your body. Hemodialysis is typically done 3 times a week, each session lasting about 4 hours, give or take. Now that depends on the size of the patient and how much fluid retention they have at the time of dialysis. Now hemodialysis requires a surgery before you start dialysis, which is to create a fistula in your arm or leg, depending on where's best suited. Now, wherever this fistula is, what it is I don't know the exact description, so I'll leave a description up here, but it basically enlarges your artery so it has an easier blood flow for dialysis. However, after you've had the fistula created, you usually have to let it mature for about 8 to 12 weeks before you can use it. Now, patients usually have hemodialysis in 1 of 3 places. First of all, it could be within general hospital where they may have a dialysis unit. Some hospitals have what they call satellite units, which are freestanding buildings nearby or next door to the hospital, which are specifically for dialysis patients. Or even some hemodialysis patients are able to train themselves to be able to do it from home. Now, self-dialyzing at home would require having a machine sent home and a lot of frequent deliveries of all the equipment and stuff you will need for dialysis. So it tends to be advised only if you have enough space at room, enough space at home to hold all this stuff. Now, from the hemodialysis patients that I've spoke to, they usually have their own room specifically for dialysis, as they need to keep it very clean and hygienic, if that's the right word. Now, most hemodialysis patients I've spoke to usually have their own separate room for hemodialysis, as they need to have a very clean area to be able to perform their dialysis in. Now, from what I've heard, the training to do hemodialysis is a bit harder than the peritoneal dialysis training. So it's not as likely for a patient to be able to self-teach themselves or self-dialyze at home with hemodialysis. So a downfall of hemodialysis will be the fact that patients will have to take 4 to 6 hours out of 3 days a week to go and have dialysis. Now, moving on to peritoneal dialysis. Peritoneal dialysis came an alternative way of dialyzing to hemodialysis in the 80s around. Now, there are 2 different types of peritoneal dialysis. There's the continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis, which is known as CAPD, or there's the automated peritoneal dialysis, which is known as APD, and that's the one I had. Now, both of these ways of dialysis require a surgery to have a PD catheter inserted into your abdominal area, and that catheter will remain there for the entire duration that you're on dialysis. Now, unlike hemodialysis, where it takes out your blood, peritoneal dialysis involves putting a cleansing fluid called dialysate, correct me if I'm wrong, into your abdominal area, into a cavity called the peritoneum, and that tends to sit there for an hour to 2 hours whilst it absorbs all the toxins and waste and excess water from your blood and from your body, as the dialysate has a strong concentration of sugar, so it's able to absorb all of that, and then all of that gets drained out of your system into a drain bag. Now, this process is repeated several times throughout one course of peritoneal dialysis. Now, continuous ambulatory peritoneal dialysis is manually done, and that involves the patient 3 or 4 times a day doing this process individually, and then in between they can go about the day, come back, and then drain it out and put the next load in. Whereas automated peritoneal dialysis is automated, as it says in the name, and this requires a machine, and it does it for you several times throughout the night, and it's a nocturnal thing, so it's overnight, and this tends to last 8 to 10 hours every night. Now, being on peritoneal dialysis, because it's all mainly done at home, it does require a huge amount of space for deliveries and stuff. So much so that when I had it, we had a shed installed in the garage just to keep all of my dialysis equipment in. Now, another thing to keep track of if you're having it at home is a PD machine is about the size of a printer, give or take. So when I had mine, I used to set it on top of my set of drawers in my bedroom, and it would fit nicely there. Whereas a hemodialysis machine is roughly, give or take, about the size of a fridge freezer. So you definitely need more space for a hemodialysis machine, which is why people tend to have their own separate room for it as well. Now, personally for me, the reason I chose peritoneal dialysis, and specifically automated peritoneal dialysis, is because I could do it myself at home. So I'd always be at home for it, and I didn't have to have trips to and from hospital all the time. And it was overnight, so it didn't really affect my day, and I could do not whatever I wanted, obviously, but I could go about my day without having to worry about it. And in the worst case scenario, if it did affect my sleep and I couldn't sleep, I was always in my bedroom, so I had my TV, I had my Xbox, I had plenty of things to keep me distracted. Now, every dialysis patient has their own preferences, so everyone has their reasons behind which dialysis they choose and which one they favour towards. Now, I've only given rough descriptions about the different types of dialysis and what they specifically do in this video, but if you are interested in doing your own research, I'll leave a couple of links below to a Kidney Research UK website and a Kidney Care UK website, which are the leading charities for kidney disease, which one day I would like to be able to do some sort of fundraiser, whether it's streaming or whatnot, to raise some money for these charities. But I'll leave those in the link below if you want to do your own research on them, as they have far more information and go into more depth about what each dialysis does. But yeah, that's this week's video all about dialysis. If you have any questions about dialysis, or if anything kidney related in general, feel free to DM me on Twitter, which is @BlurStatics, or you can get hold of my Facebook page, which is Kieran McLean/BlurStatics. Or if you do have me as a friend on Facebook and I know you personally, feel free to hit me up on my inbox. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have. But yeah, I'll see you all in next week's video, which I've not quite decided at the time of recording this, but it'll be a nice surprise for when it comes out for you guys. But yeah, I'll see you all in next week's video. So goodbye, take care.